Hello, Blessed Star family, and welcome to our first quarter moon pickle reading. I'm just going to do a short intro here because I already did a group reading, channeling 2026 predictions. There will be a link in the description box. Go follow that. If you haven't, you may have started there first and then gone here, whatever is in your greatest and highest good. I also just want to apologize that there must be something going on because I have never heard so many motorcycles in December. And I was like, I thought it was the Toys for Tots thing, but I thought they did that before Christmas. But we have, the sun is really bright here. I don't even have the lights on. I just have these two candles. That's how bright it is. It's so beautiful out. And where I live, it can be very, very gloomy. So I apologize. It's been going on all since early this morning, actually. So I literally at one point I was like, oh, it must be Toys for Tots. I'm like, wait, it's in real time. I'm like, it's December 27th. I'm like, Christmas is over. But anyway, with that being said, I'm not going to go through all of that. Just follow the link in the description box. I'll put it as the very first link because they may have me put other links on this as well, but I will put it as the very first link after the timestamps so that you are, or before, whatever they have me, whatever they call me to do, when you check out the timestamps in the description box to take you to your reading. Okay, so basically just a blanket. You probably saw it in, I don't know how they'll have me word it, but this is basically asking Spirit, where do we need to take action in 2026 to create the magical life that we desire? And we go in deeper into that, and Spirit, there was like a lot of awesome things that went into all of that. But for now, I'm feeling the vibe that we just want to jump into these readings. So without further ado, we have reading 1, reading 2, and reading 3. Okay? And if you're pulled to more than one reading, that's fine. That's fine. If that's, you know, I always say, if you're pulled to more than one reading, then sit with Spirit or use your pendulum or whatever works for you. Flip a coin. Just make sure that the coin has always been like washed thoroughly and blessed and taken. I mean, think of all the energy that goes by, on touching money. But anyway, you can just do like heads, yes, tails, no, whatever works for you. But sometimes it is actually very important to watch one reading before the other, because you can kind of get lost in space in your head, and not a good way if you're not paying attention. Also, I'm feeling this vibe that they want me to move the candle closer. So I'm going to just a little closer. I feel like there's something with the reflection of the light. Also, maybe for the cover. Oops, sorry guys, I didn't mean to do that. Maybe for the cover photo to give it a better vibe. Anyway, oopsie. So it's important sometimes to watch one reading before the other, is basically the energy I'm getting from Spirit. Okay, there we go. They're like, can you move it back? I'm like, yeah. Because I feel like for some of you, there's something with the flames. Maybe you're being entranced by the flames and one is flickering to you more than the other, whatever it is. I am trying to get a little more focused on it because I think that's a great screenshot. I may use that for the cover. All right, you guys, I don't want to just meander about. So if you want to know more of, like, we go more in depth about this reading and all that stuff, like I said, follow the link in the description box to take you to the group reading first. If not, let's dive into these. You can always go back and watch it later, right? Whatever is meant to be, everything works differently for everybody. So I will see you over at your reading. I love you. Blessed be. Oh. Welcome, reading 1. My goodness, I haven't done readings for weeks. It's been a nice little vacation, but I am so happy to be back. And thank you for allowing me to be your reader today. If you are new here, my name is Tula Loren. Welcome to the Magical Medium channel. 2026 is going to be really exciting and interesting for lots of us. I have to say though, before we dive into your cards, I just heard from Spirit, it's time for you to slow down. Even if you're in the Southern Hemisphere watching this reading and you're going more into the summer energy, You know, summer and winter, I always think of, you know, basically right before this started, I asked Spirit, my phone was charging from the group reading, and I was taking a break setting this up, and I just said, is there anything you want me, you know, you want to tell me for 2026? And I feel like that they want me to share this with you as well. So it was about the wheel of the year, really paying attention to the 8 Sabbaths of the year. And I'm getting that vibe for you too. And I feel like anyone who's going to find these readings, I mean, the first quarter moon is all about taking action. So they're saying, like, where do you, you know, you're saying to Spirit, where do I need to take action in 2026 to create the magical life that I desire? And Spirit is, oh, listen to that. I feel like you get easily distracted. That's what I was kind of getting into, is all these things happened. I hurt my hand. Like, I feel like you're like, I'm seeing like a vision of somebody, like, I don't know if you ever heard of that old thing where they're like, I'm dancing as fast as I can. And he's like tap dancing, and it's like kind of like a funny, you know, meme. I feel like that's you. There's just too many, you know, plates in the air. There's too many. It's like you're trying to dance and balance plates, and that is done. You're not doing that anymore. If I'm hearing, if you want to take your life back, because I feel like some of you have been asking Spirit how to take your life back because you really don't know. They're like, part of taking your life back is self-care and saying no. And saying, you know what, you got to take care of yourself. You know, you're an adult, or you have to, you know, take care of yourself. You know, I'm not your parent or whatever. I'm your partner. Or you need to take care of yourself. Yes, I work for you, but I'm not picking up your dry cleaning, sir. Like, that's not part of my job description, and I don't want to do that. Like, that takes time out of my day. I'm not getting paid for that. Because, you know, when I worked on salary, I remember I would do things for my boss, and then I would, like, somehow it would come out and I would tell my family or friends, and they'd be like, dude, that's inappropriate. They shouldn't ask you to do that. And they're like, you're so nice. And they said it in a loving way. They're like, and you're so naive. Because I was just like a loving being, right? And I feel like you and I are very similar. That's why I'm discussing this with you, right? Right now, Ra's coming out, the light, we bring the light into the room, we bring the love and all the goodness, but it's also, we can be easily taken advantage of and manipulated, and Spirit saying no more. They want you to open your fucking eyes, like open them as wide as possible. Like, your mission, should you choose to accept it for 2026, is to keep your eyes open. That doesn't mean you love people less. You may like them less. That's fine. You know, I mean, I know my mom used to say to me, I love you, but I don't have to like you right now. Right. And that's tough love, but there is some truth to that. It was a little harsh when I was a kid, right? Also, they had me bring that little angel in. Do you see the little angel on your shoulder? You have angels all around you. You are living far too much into the third dimensional energy. There's some aspect of your life that you are just giving too much to. And they're saying 2026, that like, I'm literally seeing like a knife going through a rope, and it's not a quick cut. It feels like it's going to be a severing, and it may be a person, place, thing. It could be a whole entire reboot of your life. You know, a lot of you guys know that I've done that. I had to reboot my entire life so that I could be my real self. Because even when I was being my real self, there were certain people I could tell that they didn't want me to change. And the people who don't want you to change should not be in your life. And it's not in any other way but the fact that they want you to stay small, or they want you to stay this certain person. And Spirit's like, but you didn't fucking come here for that. They keep, you know, putting you in this block. I remember they're telling me I can choose to call the person out or just say family member. I'm just going to say family member right now. But I had a family member where I was trying so hard. I moved to Los Angeles from Chicago in my 20s. And I already felt like I was kind of getting a late start at 23. And when I was not making auditions or whatever, like, I would get like really frustrated. But I still kind of had this air about me because I started to change. I started to become more confident, but I also became arrogant. And confidence and arrogance are very different. So one of my family members put me in my place and said, you know, you're no different than anybody else. They're like, you're not special. But the interesting thing was, the first time they said it, like, it was interesting because the first part was true. I am like everybody else. My pants go on one leg at a time like everyone else, or two legs at a time. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like that old saying, I am the same in human form, but I am special. I am different. I am here to, you know, do something special and change the world. They recognized that, but they didn't want me to recognize that. They could see that I was getting really fucking close, but they didn't want that. They didn't want me to be successful. But at the same time, I needed them because it wasn't time. I needed to become what I am now to become what I'm becoming. You know what I'm saying? So it all happened for a reason, which is why I don't want to call them out. But at the same time, you know, they weren't saying you're not special because they were trying to help me. They knew I was special. They wanted to rip me down. They wanted me to stay that person. They wanted me to stay the wounded person. They wanted me to stay the fucking addict. They wanted me to stay small, because then that would mean they would have to try harder. They would have to do more. It's always a reflection somehow on ourselves when we see or feel conflict. My left hand is glowing and I feel the energy, and I'm hearing, look at the way that the energy of the candle is bouncing off the moonstone. So just to give you, because if you're not familiar with moonstone, this is the moonstone right here. And moonstones are very special, but sometimes they're showing me, but sometimes with the moonstone, it's like, it might just look like a rock to somebody. But then do you see that? Do you see the rainbow when the light hits it? I have to hit it in the right way. And I don't know. Oh, there it is. Do you see it at the top there? It's like a moonbeam. Do you see how it's glowing? That's you. You're like a moonstone. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to work with moonstone, okay? That is your stone. And that's a quartz, that's a clear quartz crystal next to it. I would also work with that and keep it next to it because they're amplifiers. Moonstone is so powerful. I can get my book right now and go through all the things, but I really want you to go on that adventure on your own. I feel like these, it's interesting. They had me bring this little gift in right here. They had me still keep it in like the festive Yule, right? Because we're in Yule right now. You know, the very first day of Yule is the 21st and today's the 27th. So we've been in it, you know, 6 days, and it goes until the closing of the year and the beginning of the Gregorian calendar year. And, you know, right now I feel like spirit, and it's interesting because, you know, we were at the end of winter and coming into the light between winter solstice and Christmas. That's why they made it Jesus' birthday. And in some ways it's very powerful, and it makes sense that it would be, because it's the bringer of the light, like he was the light, the love, right? So that's what they want you to remember. Work with the Christ consciousness. So in order for you to create the magical life that you deserve, work with the moon cycles, work with Christ consciousness, and definitely work with the wheel of the year, the Sabbats. This is a new book that I bought and I really love it. It was only made in the UK version, and they started making one for the US as well. So this is the Astro Moon Diary 2026, and if you're interested in it, if Spirit calls me to, I'll put a link in the description box so you can kind of see it. But it's super magical. It's so magical. I love it so much. And also, I noticed today when I was doing the group reading right before this that they do not mention the Chinese or the Lunar New Year in there. It's very interesting, at least not that I saw. Maybe I read it wrong, but anyway. So that is indeed February 17th. That is a confirmation from Spirit. So you guys, on February 17th, it's going to be one of the most magical days of our lives, because it's a solar eclipse and a new moon on a Chinese, on the Lunar New Year. The Chinese New Year is the Lunar New Year. And it's the year of the fire horse. which represents freedom. So it's going to be one of the most pivotal, magical, like we are turning the tide where the magic is coming back in. So that's why they had me keep the sparkle of, you know, quote unquote, kind of Christmas and the energy. And we have worked so hard, and the angels want us to recognize how hard we're working. They see us. They're saying, congratulations, you're doing such a good job. But they want you to relax and focus on yourself. And in the wheel, I wasn't sure if they were going to have me read it, but they do want me to read it. And it was actually interesting because I was like, do you want me to read the whole thing, you know, or do you want me just to read a certain part? And I realized when I started reading the one part exactly what they were saying. So the key words for 2026 are celebrating the Sabbats and the Esbats. And I don't know if I'm saying that right. I just want to make sure. Okay. You see that? Working with Fortuna, Aaron and Jupiter. And I'm a triple Sag, and Jupiter is my ruling planet. So I thought that was really interesting too. But that's reversed. Don't look at the reverse. We don't need that. But what they say is, because we're not going to have any bad luck or any, that's the thing they want you to step away from. Maybe that's why they have me show it. In the reverse, it says a period of bad luck, feeling disconnected from the seasons and rhythms of nature, seasonal affective disorder, basically the wintertime blues. And they're saying for people who basically when we're on the wheel of nature, like when we're on the wheel of the natural flow of Gaia, we don't have depression because we know that we're just in wintertime where we're resting. But see, in these jobs that we have, it's like, you still got to go to work. You still got to, you know, I remember I was telling somebody once that when I grew up in Chicago, and, you know, sometimes it was like the tundra, man. It was fucking rough. When we'd get those fucking cold air coming down to Lake Michigan from the Canadian mountains, it could be wretched. And I remember being outside and it was dark at like 6 a.m, using an extension cord with a blow dryer on my key, you know, my lock or whatever, because I can't get my key in the lock because my locks were frozen on the outside of my car, you know. And so I remember crying and my tears like freezing to my face while I'm crying, going, I fucking hate this. I hate this place. I don't want to live here, until enough was enough. And you know what? I got sick of it and I moved to LA. And then after 7 years of basically not having seasons, really, whatever, I was like, I'm going to go fucking crazy. I love LA, but I got to get out of here, right? And then I, you know, bounced around, and now I found that the Pacific Northwest, at least for now, it feels the most natural to me. But even now, today is the coldest day. It's the coldest day that we've had so far, like temperature-wise. The sun is out, and I'm grateful, but it is fucking cold. It's like a high of 32. So that's really cold for us. And I was like, oh man, I really just want to be snuggled up and whatever, but I have to work. But the cool thing is, all I have to do is, you know, turn on my camera. Ooh, that was interesting. Is turn on my camera and go to work. And maybe for some of you, this is like a sign that it's time for you to work from home. You know, like, what is your desire? You know, the actual words are to create the magical life you desire. What do you need to do to create the magical life that you desire? Also, when it zoomed in like that, my eyes went to, I feel like somebody's looking at the crystal ball and they're like, yes, please, scroll, scry. You know, maybe some of you aren't used to being here. Maybe you're brand new. Welcome. You know, maybe you've never been here before. You don't know what's happening. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to bring it in. I feel like some of you need to see this, need to scry. Look at the way the light's bouncing off the moonstone is really powerful. And on that angel, it is a loose form of the end of It's a Wonderful Life. And it basically says, remember that no man is a failure who has friends. And you have friends here. You have a community here. We love you. You're not crazy. The world may feel crazy, but you yourself, reading one, you are not crazy. You are actually very, very gifted. And they want me to read this. And it says, this card symbolizes the magic of the 4 seasons and the energies of the wheel year. When this card turns up in a reading, it is a message to work with the energies and the cycles of nature that are currently around you and not against them. This means rest and introspection in the winter, new beginnings, growth, and opportunities in the spring, energy, excitement, bounty, and vibrancy in the summer, and abundance and reminders to prepare, gather, and remember in, wait, what does it say? And abundance and reminders to prepare, gather, and remember in the autumn. I wonder if that's interesting. I thought I was looking at it wrong, because you guys know when I channel, sometimes I say the things that are coming, but not in the book. Interesting. So expect there to be change, as all of life is forever transforming and growing. This card classically represents good luck, opportunity, and a fortuitous event. So when you're following in the cycles, you know, and working with the energies and the magic of each season, they're saying that you will start to feel more in flow, and everything will feel good, and the angels are going to help you through this year. Also, you may be doing things you don't even realize you're doing. Like, I brought this in from, we have a holly tree outside, and I brought this in, and even when I went to a drum circle on winter solstice, I gifted them like a long burning candle, and I put some holly on there. And I didn't even realize until Spirit drew me to it that holly is like the tree plant, whatever, of Yuletide. So, you know, it's like sometimes we're already doing it, right? Because you already know. You've been here before, you've done this, like you already know, but they just want you to get out of the matrix of the, like, maybe you're like going to get your coffee every morning and you're whatever, and they're like, oh, when I look down, it was 2101. So work with angel number 2101, okay? Also, in the group reading, a bunch of angel numbers came through to work through for the collective for 2026, and also 1515 was a big angel number for 2026. And if you add it together, it's actually the number 12, and it comes out to the number 3. And before I forget, I am doing a reading on January 1st, because it's going to be a 1-1. It's an 11-10 day. So that's an angel number for us to work with, 11-10. But when you add it together, it's a 1-1-1. So I'm not sure if I'm going live or recording. They haven't told me yet. I don't know. In real time, it's Saturday the 27th. That's Thursday. That's 5 days away. I'm not concentrating on 5 days away. I'm concentrating on now. But I know that for sure they told me I'm doing some type of reading for the tribe. I have a feeling this is my last reading of the year in general for the tribe. But of course I'll put things out. I record things I've been putting readings out. I think I put a shorts out recently from a reading that I did like 4 years ago. You know what I mean? It's like, because time is a man-made construct. It's like all the information is always there and present. It's just when it comes to you. So with that being said, that is a big thing for you to have all the magic that you desire come to fruition in your life in 2026. It is to resolve and letting go of the past, working with these energies and these entities that they spoke of, clear quartz crystal, moonstone, angel energy. The angels are always around you, but remember, they can't do anything without your permission. Some things may have already been in a soul contract. That's why, like, when you walk in traffic and somebody pulls you back and you're like, holy shit, I almost died. It's like, right, like that angel, your angels push that person to, you know what I mean? Like all that, because you weren't supposed to die that day. That's why when someone dies, even if it's fast, even if it's tragic, even if it's, you know, a child, it's like you have to know that, like, that was all, you know, it was all there, you know, it was part of the story. It's kind of like when you write a book and then they turn the book into a script and then the script into a movie. You may read the book, but until you see the movie, you're still going to have a different, right? We all have our own set of imagination, our own set of skill set of imagination. So when we're reading a book, we're going to see what we see in our mind's eye from, you know, past lives, this life, you know, whatever. But when we see it on a screen, that's what they thought it would be coming to life, you know, like, and you hear that all the time where people read book series and they hire an actor and they're not happy. I mean, poor Kristen Stewart, you know, they really bashed her and said she was so wrong for Bella and whatever. But when you look back on it and you watch them all in a row, she was actually fucking perfect for Bella. But it's interesting because people, I think we all had like this different mindset of what we wanted it to be. And you have to remember that Stephanie, I think her name is Meyer, you know, the writer, like, she had Twilight in her mind and she wrote it. So if she, you know, that was her biggest thing, was that she had to be part of the casting. She chose Kristen Stewart to be Bella. You know what I mean? So you have to, it's like you can like her or not like her, but the person who wrote her found that she was the closest to what she felt Bella was. Do you see? So it's easy for us to manipulate our minds, our bodies, and our souls from, you know, different things. you know, that came from her fantasy, from her mind, and we are a co-collective. So I think that's why sometimes maybe the co-collective are like, have some connection to it. So they're like, oh, well, that's not the way I see her, or that's not the way I feel about her. But if you look, a lot of times people are comparing themselves to the heroine or the protagonist or the antagonist, whoever it is, you know what I mean? In the story. And that's all we are now, is just building our own story. And this is your story reading one. 2026 is about you. It's your story. You get to decide. You get to choose. You get to literally create the magical life that you desire by taking action. The first quarter moon is all about taking action. Okay? So let's get to your cards. I had a feeling we were going to do them all at once. So let me see if they still want me to do that. Okay. Okay, they do. All right, so I'm going to put them in front of you. And then I'm going to put them back. And the angel said it's okay if we go in front of them. I was like, I don't want to go in front of you. They're like, it's okay. Oh, sorry. Ooh, interesting. The Four of Pentacles. I get this energy of... First I got the energy of mine. And then I got the energy of I'm so fucking tired. So I don't know who that's for. Oh, and then we have a reverse. So we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. And always, if there's animals in the card, work with that spirit animal. It's there for a reason. Okay? So it looks like little lammy pie. Is that a lamb? Is it a lamb or a goat? I don't have my glasses on. I guess it's what you see it to be. It almost looks like a deer now, actually. You know what? If we read the book, they'll tell us. It looks like a deer. Actually, no, it looks like a deer. A white deer. So I'm going to leave it in reverse just so that I remember. Because sometimes, I mean, a lot of times they'll just tell me anyway. But, okay. So let's get into this. Interesting that the fire, they told me to pull back. And look at how the fire is going in his hand where it looks like a lantern by the pentagram. Yeah, I mean, look at this. We've got... This is very interesting, you guys. I mean, I've had this deck a really long time, and I've shuffled this deck many times. And you have all pentacles. You have all pentacles. And I'm going to ask Spirit, are any of the first two in reverse and the page is upright and I put them wrong? Because sometimes that happens too. Are they in the places they need to be? Okay, they said you're going to understand in a minute. Okay, so we start with the Six of Pentacles, then we're going to the Four of Pentacles and to the Page of Pentacles. And, you know, Page is like the novice, you know. So I would say, you know, if you're already having, if you don't know, Pentacles are connected to wealth, money, you know, home, hearth, you know, all the good stuff. Prosperity. But at the same time, I find it interesting. Before I even go into the book, I'm just going to tell you what I feel and what I see. I see in the Six of Pentacles in the first card, somebody who is, because it's a divine masculine, it's like the elephant in the room, right? Like, we can't ignore that. And because the divine feminine is working so hard to keep the divine masculine on the straight and narrow these days, I feel like this represents you. And I feel like the children could be real children, or it could be a lot of different things. Okay. They're all you in some way, but what I want you to recognize is that in the middle card, it's also a divine masculine. And I feel as if there is somebody in this is coming out. There's no shame, okay? I'm going to start this right now by telling you right now there's no shame. And they want you to hear that because it's really important that you hear this. I feel like for some of you, like maybe this is how you really look, or this is how you really are, but this is how you feel. You just feel old, man. Like, I feel like you just feel old. You feel like you feel tired. And I feel like you're holding onto your money too tightly and not putting it back into the universe. There's definitely, like, I'm getting the chills right now. I feel like the reason why they had me do the channeling before we pulled the cards is because they wanted you to like know and understand the hope and the prosperity first for 2026 so that you can understand where your cards are. Do you understand? Like, they want you to stay in that positive mindset because you're going to keep going. Like, things are going to be good. I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Like, all is well. You know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling like some of you are feeling really lost right now. And I'm even heard the word scared. Let me see if they want me to pull any cards to with that energy. Do we want to pull any more cards for this reading? Okay, no. For a split second, I thought maybe they wanted a card, but they're like, no, all is well. This is somebody who's constantly giving. That's all I feel is this giving energy, this really strong giving energy. But then it gets to a point, and even though you have a wreath behind you, which is a circle, and wreaths are endless, right? Like we were saying earlier, it's 2026. It's a 10-year. It comes out to the number 10. That's about completions. You take the 0 off. It's about new beginnings. But all in all, there's a 0. You know what I mean? In the culmination of the number, and zeros mean infinity. And I feel like for some of you, you feel like you are never going to get out of this. You feel like you've been in this like horrible, and I don't want, if this is a negative word, please tell me, but I'm literally hearing the terminology miser. So it could be that, I'm sorry if this comes off as a rude, derogatory word towards somebody. I believe it is in in Hebrew. And it just means stingy person. But some people take it as like a really negative things to say. But I'm saying it because I feel like there's somebody here that needs to hear that specific word, because maybe it comes from a programming. It feels like an old programming. And if I'm getting really serious, you guys, going even further into the Jewish, like it made me think like German. It feels like either you have a German background, or it could just be like that kind of like very rigid, kind of, thinking, because, Jewish religion is, or faith, or however wording you say, it's not just German, right? It may have been part of what happened in Germany, but it's not just German. But it does feel like this could be somebody that maybe you are from that part of the world, Austrian, German, or you have ancestors that are, and you were just raised to be very stingy, and you give and then you hold on, and then you give and then you hold on, and then you give and you hold on. And they're saying, but how's that working for you? They're saying it's the flow that you're missing. And that's why now they want me to put this upright, because that's how you are seeing yourself. It's like you've been going through this life as kind of like this novice with when it came to money, but you thought you were doing good. But I feel like it could be for some of you, it could be like a family, like the way you were raised, or the way you were told to spend money, save money. But there's definitely something with the abundance, and that's why they had me put it in reverse first, so that you can see. But your outcome is actually the Page of Pentacles. 2026 is going to be the year where you understand and learn how to navigate your money better and navigate your finances. That's the energy that I'm getting from Spirit. And it's really exciting too, because you're going to notice that the more you go in a flow state of it, the more it keeps coming in. Because the more you keep giving money out, it just wants to come back to you. Right? It's a good energy, and good energy flows good energy. If you're somebody who just keeps giving, it's going to keep giving. I saw something recently where Taylor Swift donated a bunch of money to all these charities, for Christmas, and of course people want to naysay and say negative things. And I'm like, you can say whatever you want about her, but she's a fucking genius, because she knows that if she knows now, she owns everything. She owns all of her music. She will make money infinity. Her family will never ever want for money. Whether people like it or not, and they don't like the comparison, she is like a Michael Jackson. She is like the Beatles. She will have that kind of legacy where her money will, I don't know if you guys, if you're Taylor fans, tell me which song it is, but I know one of her videos, in one of her songs, she talks about how she has nightmares about her kids being monsters, and that they're not going to carry on her legacy, properly. And it's funny in the video, like she fakes her death to kind of see how they're going to handle it. And it's hilarious. And she's funny, right? Because she's not stupid. And that was a long time ago. Now she owns her masters, right? But it's what is she going to do with it? It's a lot of money. And yes, she has to spend a lot of money to make that kind of money. You know, I've been watching little things from her tour, little snippets, you know, from this docu-series that she put out, and just the amount of money that she had to put out just to make it happen. That's why the tickets were so insane. And people were like, oh, you know, she's not a true artist. And she's like, no, I am an artist. That's what I'm saying. Like, I brought you a show. I wanted to do something and bring people together and bring the love together. Like, she raised the vibration, you know, but not single-handedly. You know, she's another form of the Christ consciousness. So right now they're saying, like, focus on giving, but doing it in a way that, like, not like, oh, I have to buy food for the kids, or, oh, I have to, you know, pay my car note, or, you know, oh, I have to blah, blah, blah. You know, Alder and I went through this whole thing when he found Dr. Wayne Dyer. And one of the things that Dr. Dyer says to say in the morning is, how can I serve today's spirit? How can I help? Or whatever languaging you want to say. But now I say, how can I help myself and the collective? Because I have to take care of me first. But then once I'm good, you know, because there's days I'm like, I want to do readings. And they're like, no. And I'm like a kid, like for weeks, I've been like, but I want to, you know, they're like, you need to rest. They're like, 2026 is going to be a big year. They're like, you need to rest. So, you know, rest when you can. And even though in the Southern Hemisphere family, even though summer's like exuberant and like what they said in the description of the book, also remember that, but summer's also for lazy days, right? So you are in the precipice of making the big changes. Rest when you can, work when you can, you know, like, and if you have to work, you're on a schedule, then think about this. The only time that is scheduled is your job. Everything else, you get to decide how you spend your time. If you have a child that takes piano lessons, you know, maybe, and they do it weekly, maybe see if you can join a group of people that also have kids that go to the same teacher, you know, and be like, you know, hey, although I guess it would be independent, but you get what I'm saying, you know, we're like, or maybe a dance class or something where you can rotate so you don't have to do it every week, and keep it in your calendar. You know, it's your week, you know, you're going to do it, you know, and if somebody asks you and you don't want to, or you can't, don't. You know, this is 2026 and 2027 are going to be a lot of like teaching and bringing us back to self. Also, look at how the light is hitting card number 1's throat chakra. That's why some of you are feeling so, like, I literally heard the word bitter. Some of you are very bitter right now. Not saying everybody, but some of you are bitter. But if you are a divine masculine in this lifetime, you identify with that, you embody that energy. This could be, you know, you looking at yourself, but also this could be for, we have a lot of, you know, divine feminines as well. And I feel like for some of you, the reason why they're showing the male in these photos, or why it's males in this deck, or, you know what I mean, this particular story and these cards in this deck, is showing that you're going too hard at it from the divine masculine, which is part of the 3D, you know what I mean? And that's why they're showing you the Page of Pentacles. It's like getting back to your divine feminine. And even for our guys, our men, you know, however you want to describe yourself, it's about you as well. It's basically reading 1. It's about letting go of the old patriarchal, I should do it this way, or this should be done this way. It's your story. You get to decide. Yes, kids need structure. Yes, I understand that. Or maybe your job needs structure and you're the boss, like however this falls in for your story. Like, we understand that, but they're also saying, but it's the way you come at something, right? Like that old saying, like, it's not how you, you know, it's how you respond to it, right? It's like, you can be shocked by something, but it's how you respond to it. So what I'm getting is that for you, reading 1 is your mission, should you choose to accept it for 2026, is to go from divine feminine, which is the Christ consciousness, which is love and nurturing, first yourself and then others. So working in order for you to create the magic that you desire for this new life for you and this new year, it's taking small baby steps towards regaining your power, taking your power back in your strength and your divine feminine, and coming from that. And people are going to say, oh, you're different. Oh, you've changed. Well, you know what? That's okay. Because you're going to be who you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't allow other people to tell you who you are becoming. Also, Spirit, do you want us to go into the book on any of these cards before we move forward? Six of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles. Would you like me to read anything in the book for these cards for them? Okay. Do you want them to work with it in like the tarot energy? I think it's interesting too, because the page, as far as I know, doesn't have like a real number. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you're working with, it's like you're going from the ace, which is 1, right, to 10. And then it's like, you know, the page, the knight, the king, or, you know, the queen, the king. So I guess technically it would be 11. So this could be like the angels, you know, also like speaking to you and through that. Just, I got an interesting kind of like punch back from that, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Also, look at the pentagram in her hand. It's like, it looks like a shield. And Spirit's saying, you may need to feel like that. You may need to use that. Oh, I hear what they're saying. I feel like somebody's asking me, you want to know what that animal is? I was like, I feel like I can't move forward, and I feel like somebody's trying to talk to me, and I'm trying to figure out, and then I realized it was you guys. One of you guys were like saying, one of you was like, what animal is it? Okay. Okay, it says a young woman with darker skin tones, black hair, and brown eyes. Interesting. I wonder why they felt that was important to do it that way. Stands holding a large golden pentacle. She is in a garden setting and stands under a blooming magnolia tree. In the background, we see a pretty blue sky and a lush landscape. The page holds up the pentacle and looks as if she is studying it most carefully. She wears a romantic spring green gown with pink floral trim. A 5-petaled flower pendant is around her throat and is a discreet pentagram. Her gown, its colors, the floral trim, and her medallion are all subtle links to the suit of pentacles ruling element of earth. A white hind peeks from around the tree just behind the Page of Pentacles. The doe, yeah, it is a deer. The doe contently nibbles on the green grass and is a young woman's companion. Traditionally, a white hind is a fairy creature. The white hind invites you to explore the realm of the fae. This otherworldly doe symbolizes magic and miracles. The magnolia tree that blooms so charmingly in this card also corresponds to the element of earth. Finally, in the language of flowers, the magnolia blossom symbolizes sweetness, beauty, perseverance, and a love of nature. So what did we say at the beginning? Getting back into the medicine wheel and not being so focused on the material, on the money, on the home, on the, yeah. I mean, look at, in cards 1 and 2, it's like the pentacles are more like possessions. And in the last card, she's like looking more closely at it. Like, how can I, you know, think of money as magic. You know, like, how can I use these pieces of paper, these pieces of metal? Like, how can I use them, or electronically, however you look at the world, right? Like, how can I use that towards, you know, gaining the abundance I need at this time? And it says the keywords are a time of study, love of nature, patience, kindness, generosity, being drawn to the fairy realm, enthusiasm, success, and take the time to focus on your spirituality. The associate elements are earth and earth. So they're saying getting grounded, that is your mission. Earth is the suit of pentacles related natural element, while all 4 of the pages are also associated with the practical element of earth. So yes, this is about getting grounded, getting grounded, getting grounded. And because it was in reverse, it says having a disconnect to your magic, feeling smothered or trapped in the mundane world, boredom and lack of focus. This happened to me recently. If you're bored, you have to ask yourself why. Like, because there's got to be something that interests you. There's got to be something that interests you more than just scrolling through your phone, or, you know what I mean? I mean, recently I like cleaned out like this one whole part of my house that I've been wanting to work on since Baba died, since before she died, really. And it had become like our bedroom. It just became like no man's land. And I just kept throwing shit back there. And I was like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. And until finally I was like, for Christmas for myself, I like cleaned and like redid the house, and it just felt so fucking good. You know, maybe you need to clean out a closet. Maybe you need to clean, you know, I'm hearing, you know, and I know that they just said rest, but on the days that you're having vigor and you want to do something positive for yourself towards your goal. Even no matter, there's no action that is too small. And when I looked up, it was 44 and then 45. And basically what they're saying is just keep going, just keep moving forward. I think those are all your messages, reading one. Do you have any more messages for reading one for 2026? Also, they're saying, remember that spring and fall for both, you know, hemispheres, my throat chakra, they're like saying it's going to be really big in a lot of ways. So don't get ahead of yourself. Rest, and it's all good things, okay? There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be, layers that are going to be pulled back and things that we're going to see. But remember, things always have to get worse before they get better. You know that old terminology. Also, my eyes keep coming over here, and Spirit's saying, when in doubt, create art that inspires and empowers. You didn't come here to play small. You came here to inspire others. So even if it's just inspiring yourself, you don't even have to share your art with the world. You know, even just talking about it. So that is your message. And to look at money as a positive thing. It is a positive thing. I'm hearing for some of you, you don't feel like your art's important. Look at, they took art out. It just says that inspires and empowers. But you're bigger than that, aren't you? So we're going to pull that out. I want to take the picture of that because I feel like that's for somebody to remind you someday. Okay, so even if you want to take a screenshot of this right now so that you can remember, you know, everything takes time. I didn't come out of a box like this. I stole that line from the first Roseanne from like the 80s and the 90s. You know, it's true. It took me years to get to where I am, you guys. It took me years, and I could not take the easy way out. And anybody who tells you that you can get to spirituality faster without going through it is selling you some snake oil. You know what I'm saying? Especially because we're in the year of the snake and we're about to go into the year of the horse. February 17th is going to really just recharge everything. I love you so much, you guys. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you can email me. If you look in the About section on my channel, it says, you know, all the things that I do. But then in the description box as well, I'll put links to, I have Venmo, I have PayPal, and I have a wish list on Amazon. If it is in your wheelhouse to do so, it is awesome. And it does help with the exchange of energy to keep the lights on and keep the energy flowing through this channel. However, remember that prayer is free. If it is not in your wheelhouse, praying for me and my family, and or just praying for myself that's connected to the universe, right? That's the exchange of energy. But they want us to reciprocate more in that exchange of energy. And thank you to those of you who have been sending donations and gifts. December was one of the best months I've had in a really long time in that department. So thank you so much. I didn't have to go to the food bank this month, right? Because I do walk the old way. So, you know, the money comes when it's meant to, and it goes out when it's meant to. So same for you. Sometimes we have to walk in a different path and a different way until we reach our destination. But don't give up. Keep going. 2026 is going to change everything, and it's going to be a wonderful, prosperous year for you. The fact that your card ends in the Page of Pentacles means that you're out of the struggle of 1 through 10. But also, why I brought up the numbers earlier is that the first card is a 6 and the second card is a 4. That comes out to the number 10. 2026 comes out to the number 10. It is going to be your year, but you're going to have to work at it, okay? I love you. We'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. And Happy New Year. All is well. All is well. I have all that I need. All is well. All is well. All is well. That is the song that keeps playing over and over and over and over. It's like I couldn't even start your reading. I was like, They were Henry VIII-ing me. If you know the Ghost movie reference, you know what I'm talking about. I was like, okay, okay, okay. I was like, I get it. So that's like your little, you know, it's your song. You know, I'm a medium. Like, that's my job. You know, it may not make sense to us at this time, but you need that little song. Okay? So keep going back to the beginning of this and listening to it over and over and over until you know it. That is literally like your little ditty, your little, and I'm not talking about the not so good ditty right now, you know what I'm saying, but we send them love, we send it love. But you know, when they say like, drink some water, by the way, all of a sudden I just got super parched. This must be for you guys. Okay, so if you didn't watch the group reading, I thought it was going to be one of those like group pick a reading. It was, but they had me do it on 2 separate videos. So I'll put a link in the description box, and I'll have it be the first link either above or below the timestamps. So if you want to go watch that first before this starts, it's kind of gives the 2026 predictions like for the collective, energetically, you know, all these other things. But anyway, when I was doing that, out of nowhere, I got real parched. And I was like, I need some water. And now I'm like, it's you guys. It was for you reading too. So you're not drinking enough water. Drink water, drink water, drink water. Also, I started building your altar. And I feel like there's a huge significance going on right now between this piece of selenite and this piece of selenite. And we're going to get to that. But also, what is happening here? It's like the light is hitting it and it's reflecting from the background. Do you see that? It's just pure magic. So if you, I don't know if you paid attention to the title or not, but this is where do I need to take action in 2026 to create the magical life I desire? Okay, so when in the group reading, I pulled the cards and we spoke about that it was interesting. Yours was the only reading that only had 1 card, but also yours is the only reading so far that has Anna, one of our tribe members, amazing painting. Look at that painting. I am in love. I tried buying it. So this is how spirit works too. So I went to her Etsy store, which I'll put a link in the description box. But I went to her store and I saw this painting and I was like, I have to have it. I was like, I have to have this painting, which by the way, that reminds me, Anna, if you're watching this reading, I've got to do I keep meaning to go and put a comment on her. It helps, you know, a positive comment. Anyway, I digress. So this wanted to come in. So I'm very curious to know how this plays in, because the other readings did not, I mean, reading 1 did not have this painting come in. And I don't know if it'll stay for reading 3, but I just had to mention that it's here. And also the interesting thing was I felt like they wanted this to stay blank for a reason, but this is a piece of chevron amethyst. And specifically, I have 3 different types of amethyst, but this is a chevron amethyst. If you can get a raw chevron amethyst, that's awesome. If you can't, just raw amethyst is better, is what I'm hearing. And it's on a selenite plate, so maybe you need to get you some selenite. And then we also have this clear quartz crystal as an amplifier. Okay, so this kind of, the way this went down was very interesting. The literally, like, I was trying to put the moonstone here, and if you were drawn to reading 1, the moonstone was their stone for 2026, but they kind of had me like fly it down here. Okay, but if you, for some of you who are torn between 1 and 2, you're on the right track. Go watch 1. Okay, but so your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to work with amethyst, you know, every day. Maybe have jewelry or something that's like next to your bedside, but make sure it stays on something that keeps the energy clear and clean so it can actually do its job. Because, you know, this little rock is so heavy, but if I hold this for a long time or sleep with it under my bed, it starts to feel so flimsy. It's because it needs to be recharged. Some of them do. All crystals and stones have their own purpose and, you know, whatever. Also, I like to kind of spin and let it stop where it wants to stop. Okay. So I'm going to put this over here so it's closer. There we go. Also, I like how the amplified is going on there. Are some of you dealing with addiction? Because I just heard or was gently reminded that amethyst is also the stone of addiction. It helps with addiction. It helps with keeping clarity. It's, you know, a lot of people call amethyst like, it's like the superstar, something rose quartz is, something that, you know what I mean? The quartz crystal or the selenite. It's like, they all have a place, they all have a purpose. But there's something going on right now, and it's interesting because we only pulled one card in that reading, and then out of nowhere I was like fixated on the cards and staring at them, and you can hear that I'm shuffling. If I wasn't meant to pull a card for you, I would not be shuffling right now. So I feel like the card in front of you is your culmination card. That's so cool. You're so fucking magical and witchy, you guys. You're so powerful. Can you not see? You know, if you're not sure of this or you don't understand certain things, maybe you're new here, welcome, and welcome back to our All Stars. And those of you who keep coming, thank you so much. And thank you for keeping my lights on. I'll tell you what, every single reading that I do that's individualized like this, that's not just a group reading, you co-created and built this altar for yourself. There's always an ongoing theme. I mean, I have had picker readings where like every single reading has a completely different altar, like background and everything. It does happen. But in these kind of flows where we're all in this kind of energy of like, okay, this new year is coming. What do we want to let go of? What do we want to focus on? Blah, 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 blah. All that good stuff. I feel like there's like this camaraderie where you kind of stay in the flow of like the background and like the foreground, but some things change. So if you're looking at this and you're seeing how cool and magical it is, this is a reflection of you. This is a reflection of you and your connection to the stars, to the earth. You're so beautiful. If only you see yourself the way that we see you. Okay, so, Spirit, what card would you like me to pull? They're kind of going all over the place. They almost flew out. It's like one of those kind of like a jumble. They want a good jumble. Really? Okay. Is it in their greatest and highest good for me to pull one of these cards before they see that card? You want to see that card right now? Okay. Oh, I thought like culmination, like you wouldn't see it till the end, but they're like, no, no, no. Meaning like, year 2026. Okay, they want me to get really official with it. Somebody wants the whole official thing. Okay, so where do we need to take action in 2026 to create the magical life we desire? It's okay that it's in reverse. The Knight of Wands. Let me come from this side. The Knight of Wands. And yes, it was in reverse. But let's get to the bottom of that, because you know what? Reading one, their culmination card was reversed as well. But it was a really great ending. Okay, so they want you to keep the Knight of Wands in mind, but they also want you to keep in mind the reversed energy of it. Okay, so let's go in. What other messages do we have? Wow, okay. The deck just like flew on the floor, but this one came out. By the way, when this came out, I swear I saw her blindfolded. Folded. It's okay if you talk like that, by the way. I feel like somebody's having something with that. The Nine of Cups. It was Nine of Cups in reverse, but do you see how like there's like this, like her eyes are closed? This is why it's in reverse. It's like, I feel like you're seeing the world like it's in the Nine of Reverse. And I feel like you're feeling like you're in the reverse of this. But this is why they brought the mushrooms out, because the mushrooms are connected, and why the moon is so important, right? As above, so below. So beautiful. Anna's a genius. And what a great artist. Can we just talk about a great artist she is? By the way, what I tried to say earlier is I tried to buy this painting and Spirit wouldn't let me buy it, and I was really upset. And then I was like, oh, that must mean it's for somebody else. And then my birthday was 2 weeks ago today, and I get this beautiful box from her and it's in there, and I'm like, dude, I wanted to pay for it, you know, but Spirit was like, no, and it was meant to be here. but also to share with you guys, you know. So do you see how she's in at home, the hearth, she's got the pot to cook in, she's got this great place, a place where she can, you know, make things. She's got all these fruits and vegetables, but yet they're like, but I don't have anything. And it's like, and here he is, powerful, wands are fire, taking action. This is like, where do we need to take action in 2026? I mean, it's literally like in the title of the reading, and you pull an action card. We didn't pull any wands in reading one. Not a one. So, you know, it's like you have this fire and this vigor, but you're like in reverse. So here's what I think before we go into the book. This is what I'm feeling. I feel like some of you are like really not sure. You genuinely are like, I'm not being a jerk. Like, I really don't know like what I'm supposed to do. I really don't know what my purpose is. But Spirit is showing you that you have all of these things in front of you. I feel like things keep coming in front of you to like show you what you have, and yet you're like, I don't have anything. It's like you're blind to it. That's why her eyes are closed. It's like you're looking at it, you know, you're looking at it from the wrong direction. You're looking at it upside down is what they said to me, but I understood what they were saying. You're looking at it from the wrong direction. And same with mushrooms, right? They're bountiful. They're a fungi. I have 3 plants, and my one plant, I can't seem to get the mushrooms to stop growing on it. And then Alder was here, and he's like, no, that's actually really good for them. I was like, oh, really? I was like, I didn't know if it was like stealing their energy or their chi. He's like, no. He's like, it's good. He's like, it's good for the soil, actually. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So here I was trying to control this fucking, you know, atmosphere of the plant instead of just like the plant allowing the plants doing fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like, leave them be, you know. I heard, drink some water. You're living too much in the 3rd dimensional. That keeps coming up. Oh my gosh, when I looked up, it was 101:31, but it like hung there, I swear, for like, it's like time stopped. So 101:31. So your angel number is 1131. Because even though the 0 has value in this situation, I literally saw it kind of like as 1131. And when you add them together, it's the number 6. So 6 is going to be an important number for you in 2026. And 2026, when you add it together, is the number 10, which is completion. Take off the 0. It's a 1, new beginnings. But 0 does have value. Also, interesting that those cards fell on the floor, and I just picked them back up, and I wasn't even paying attention. And this is what I was seeing. This is how I was seeing you. Some of you are still in victim mode, and Spirit's saying, get out. Like, look at the castle, like everything you want is right there. It's right within your grasp. But instead, you're staying surrounded by people who are telling you who you should be, what you should think. Swords, it could be an air sign. And if you're not familiar with the air signs, it's Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Even though Aquarius is considered the water bringers, a lot of people get that confused and think it's water, but it's air. So it could be something to do with those signs. It could even be Aquarius energy is coming up next, right? Like we're in Capricorn right now, and Aquarius follows. So it could be like in that time frame, like maybe, you know, because also for some of you, they're saying, don't be so hard on yourself. You have to remember that we're in the year of the snake right now. And snake is about shedding our skin, and it's about rebirth. It's about transmutation. So some of you are going to have a big fucking glow up in 2026. You will all have a glow up in 2026 if you let go of the past. That's why they were both upside down. It's like you're hanging in limbo of a world that doesn't exist anymore. And this has been coming up a lot. And I feel like it needs to be said here because it's coming up again in my mind. So, you know, if you have people in your life who are not very supportive or happy of your changes, they cannot stay in your life. And you may have to do some radical things, changing jobs, moving locations, relationships breaking up, not talking to family. Because if they want to keep putting you in like who they think you were, then you have to keep slipping in and wearing the mask, and it's just so fucking tiring, and you can't live the life that you're meant to live. I mean, this is about 2026. This is taking action to create the magical life that you desire. And you know what I heard from Spirit? And the magical life that you deserve. You givers, so many of us in this tribe, we're fucking givers. We're light workers. But you got to give back to you first. You can't pour out of an empty cup. And both of your cards were in reverse. And it's interesting because we didn't use, you know, sometimes when I only pull like one card or whatever, when I'm doing what I did in, you know, the group thing earlier. Sorry, I'm like, I start to lose my vocabulary after a while. I haven't done readings for a few weeks. It's like practice, right? It's like riding a bike. I'm like, I'm exhausted. Yesterday I was eating like actually Christmas Eve I like started out kind of like light and we ate good. And then Christmas Day we ate pretty good and healthy. And then all of a sudden, man, we just went out. I was like, oh dude, I want chips. He's like, me too. I'm like, fuck yeah. And I was like, and then yesterday I was like eating like crazy. I'm like, what is going on? I realized because I was like getting ready for the big game today for real. Cause like I had been doing a lot of fasting. So, you know, we have to align with the energy when it's present. And that's what I'm hearing from Spirit for you as well. Living in the moment, living in the present, and not having people in your orbit who keep trying to bring you back to somebody that you no longer are. And how can you be the person you're becoming if you're still like, you know, straddling one identity with another identity? You know, it's like the fucking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's like Superman and Clark Kent. It's like, but even Superman was like, it gets exhausting. Right? No matter how superpowers, but you know, for us, it's like we are superheroes, you guys, in this tribe. We really are superheroes. We really are. But even superheroes have to rest. We're not gods. We may come from the angel realm as light workers and healers and deep down believers in magic and here to change the world, but our human avatars must rest. They must get the fuck out of their heads so that they can just chill. Meditation is going to be key for you. Your angels are getting harsh with you because they're like, some of you have been putting this shit off, and some of you have been putting this off for like decades, and you know it, you know it, right? And I feel you, dude. I had to, and I always say I will never ask you to do anything I haven't done myself. And if I haven't done it myself, I will be your biggest cheerleader and stand beside you while you go through it. But significant changes must take place. And it's going to happen because you know what? In springtime, I'm hearing in March is going to, you know, so take this time in the year of the snake until we go into the year of the horse on February 17th. Because on February 17th, not only is it the Lunar New Year with the fire horse coming in after this fucking heavy energy of the snake. I forget which the snake was. I don't know if it was metal or earth or you think I'd know by now. I bet it's in my book, but I don't have it. Anyway, doesn't matter. Because in this moment, it's about what we're going into, and you can research it on your own. But a fire horse charges forward. But we're still in the snake energy. So allow yourself whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but if you're watching it in real time, I don't know when they'll have me put it out, but I'm recording it on the 27th of December. Spirit is giving you permission to release and let these people go. It doesn't make you a monster. And some of you, I know, I get it. I was the same way. I'm like, I think once my mom dies, but you know what? It didn't work that way. I didn't get the easy way out. I had to stop talking to my mom while she was alive. My mom had to die on her deathbed. My mom and I have been working so intensely since my birthday over the last few weeks. And the one thing my mom finally made me lay to rest, it was interesting too. It was like when I found Bubba's fur and my mom, it was like all this happened all at once. And for those of you know, and those of you who don't, no worries. But basically what had happened was I lost my mom and my cat of 13 years within months of each other. And they both started getting sick at the same time. I think my mom had been getting sick. I had felt the last time I had been with her, I felt like she was ill, and I kept urging her to take care of herself and her health and whatever. But, you know, everything happens the way it's supposed to. But anyway, I kept hoping I could hang on to my mom, but I had to let her go, and it was really difficult. And when Bubba got sick, my cat, when she got sick at the same time as my mom, I was like, okay, what fucking crazy ass, mean, awful test is this? You know, like, what do I have to choose one? Because I had this horrific intuition, gut feeling if I left to be with my mom that Bubba would die. And whether it was true or not, I had pushed myself into believing it was true. And I had given myself like this timeline that if things don't happen by this timeline, then I'll just talk to Baba and tell her to hang in there, and I will go see my mom and, you know, whatever, in just a few days, and I'll be back. And then my mom died, and I didn't get a choice. The choice was, I'd already made the choice. I had made the choice years before when I said goodbye to her, when I told her I was saying goodbye to her, when I told her after a 6-hour conversation that I had to let her go, that I had to let the family go, that I'd hoped for the best and that things would turn around. But the reality was the reality. And my mom finally like laid to rest. She's like, you did exactly what you were supposed to. By the way, when I looked, my eyes were closed, and when I looked up, it was 1:10:09, which is also the number 11. So, you know, you have to remember that they are our blood and bone family, but we are only earthbound to them through the emotions that we were programmed to have to them, to no matter how they treat us, no matter how they talk to us, whatever, that we should revere them, that we should worship them, that we should whatever. But it's the opposite. We should be able to tell them who we are and that they love us and they accept us and they support us. And if they don't, then those people should not be in our lives. And they are our greatest teachers. And that's why you are having such a hard time letting go. It's because it's the connection to the old programming of parents, the boss, the lover, the spouse, the friend, whatever. It could even be an animal. I've had animals that I was like, I just don't feel like they're my animal. Like, I mean, I'm like, I can tell when it's mine. And that's when I knew I was meant to be a foster. And I fostered for years and took care of, and some I just took care of them until they died, but they didn't want to be touched, or they didn't want, you know what I mean? And they just, some were with me a short time, some were with me a few more years than I thought, but they still were like, they were their own entity, you know, and they knew that I would give them that respect and that, you know. And there is a connection that we have to the divine that's so true and so real when we are coming from the true essence of our soul. You have a path and a purpose here. So if you cloud your judgment with an emotional story tied into some, you know, Charles Dickens fucking novel, or, you know what I mean, or the Brady Bunch, or what you know what I mean, or feeding into maybe this or maybe that, or, you know, I don't want them to be sad. But did you ever think that the longer you're doing that, what if you cutting off these people or this job or starting a new life or moving, what if these big changes, that all these, have you ever thought, Spirit's like, have you ever given it any thought that maybe you are the one that has to make the change? Because if you make the change, they will also change. And if they don't, you were the person that was put in their path to bring that karma, that, you know, dharma, whatever it is. But you are then trying to control the narrative, and it's not your job to control the narrative. You have to remember your path and your purpose and your place on this plane at this time, in this dimension, in this story. And so it is written. When I looked up, it was 1:12:56. There's a lot of oh, and then I went to 1:13. So listen, this is who you've been and who you cannot be anymore. Open your eyes and see the bounty before you, because the 9 of Cups, 2025 is a 9-year. And when this is done, you're going to start to see all the things that are in front of you, and that you could do whatever you want to do. You don't have to hold back. You don't have to stop. You don't have to wait for this or wait for that. There's no more waiting. You've got the Knight of Wands. The Knight is the champion. And I'm hearing Archangel Michael, because he's the protector of fire, the south. and wands are fire. And I feel like this is him talking to you, saying, you know, I feel like Michael's been, some of you already probably know this. There's also some factor in here about the balance of the divine feminine and masculine as well, and getting that balanced out. And 2026 that's gonna happen for you. You're gonna have some big breakthroughs. I also heard drink some more water. You're going to have some big breakthroughs, and it's going to happen in the first 3 months. You're going to have at least one big, I'm going to tell you this. I don't normally do like, woo, predictions. Like, I don't do that. I don't claim to be a fucking swami, man. Like, I do what I do. But, oh shit, I didn't even realize this. You guys, look what's at the top of the deck. You see the other cards? I just saw that, the Hanged Man. But what I'm hearing from Spirit is to hang tight. Just hang tight. Enjoy winter or summer, depending on what hemisphere you're in. Just enjoy it. Learn when you want to learn. Otherwise, just nap. And see that halo around their head? They're showing you like, you're a child of the divine. You're an earth angel. You're a light worker. There's also a big Jesus thing going on for me right now. I don't know if you guys see that too. But see how his arms are behind him? They're like, how can you get anything done when your arms are behind you? I feel like some of you, this is how you're living your existence. And this Hanged Man energy, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to work. I could go in the book right now and 10 Ways from Tuesday, read you everything. But they're saying no. Work with the Hanged Man energy. If you're watching this in real time, it's really good to connect with that energy before we go into 2026, before the wheel turns into that number. I got the chills all over my body, because that's something you guys really need to let go of. So, but research it. Look up, the Hanged Man Tarot, upright, reverse, like research the card. And, Biddy Tarot has some really good stuff on it. They want you to do it, because part of retention is doing the research yourself. Okay? So let me see if we have any more cards. Wow, that's really powerful. You guys, you're just so powerful. Oh my gosh. I don't know where this came from, but this was sitting on the side. Okay, look it. I just want to show you. Now imagine this is flat, but this was like sitting on my table like that. And then I usually have the candle under it, but I took it out. But look at this. Oh, holy shit, you guys. That's the cover of the deck. It's the moon. Number 18, which is also number 9. Yeah. So getting connected to the earth, getting connected to the moon. This is part of you. You are a powerful witch, you guys. I said, I'm like, whoever's watching these, they may have me do another one, but I really do think that these are the last readings I'm doing before the end of the year. Because, it's Saturday and the New Year's on Thursday. So they've been having me really chill, and I could only imagine that's probably what they're going to have me do. But I also, did I say this at the beginning of your reading? I don't know if I did, but I'm doing a reading on the 1st, and I don't know if it's going to be live or recorded, so stay tuned. But I mean, hello, it's going to be 2026 is a 10. Take off the 0, it's a 1. So it's 111. I'm like, dude, talk about the 1-1 portal. I mean, it's pretty profound. The next year is going to be even bigger, because it'll be an 11. 2027 is an 11 year, so it'll be an 11-11. Dude, I'm telling you, 2026 is going to be such a big fucking change. And for some of you, this is going to hurt. But I'm hearing for at least one person, how do you know that, like, maybe someone that you need to let go of, maybe their karma thing is that, like, you only, I'm feeling like this might be someone's father. Because I feel like it's somebody that was alive before you were alive. So it's either a father figure or someone in your life who is older than you. But I'm getting like that they did something really fucking shady in this life, and maybe you stopping talking to them is part of their karma. I know that's rough to hear, and it's not always easy, but I am hearing something about that. And if that resonates, then it's yours, and if it doesn't, don't make it your story. But whenever it comes up, it means anything that ever comes up, it means at least one person that's coming up and that's resonating for. But also with the moon card, I mean, it's being a 9 and it's a 9 year right now. I feel like that's what they're trying to show you. Like, you're the light. Do you see that torch? I just got the chills all over my body. Remember that you are abundant. Use the I am mantras. I am magic. I am royalty. I am beautiful. I'm a beautiful soul. I'm a millionaire. Say these things. You deserve it. There's nothing wrong or shameful for having abundance. Look at what abundance has done to the shadow. We're here to flip that switch so that they, you know, you can only have a fair game when you have equal players. Do you understand? So, right? Like, so they will put the bounty into the hands of those that need it and will put it back into the world. And look at that knight. And, you know, and you know what's really cool about this? The way they have it is right now it's the divine masculine that's struggling so much. And you've got 2 divine feminines on either side flanking this divine masculine. So, you know, I'm hearing maybe you were having like a battle with, like, you know, using more force and the, you know, and the yang energy of the masculine instead of the yin soft loving energy. So, I mean, look at, I mean, the card 1, she's beautiful. She's blossoming. You know what I mean? She's got all of this bounty around her, but her eyes are kind of closed. Like, she's like not seeing it. And there's shadow around, you know, some of the food. Like, for some reason she's seeing some things, but the pumpkin's there too. But why isn't the light on the pumpkin? You know, little things like that. And whenever there's animals or food or things like that, you might even want to look into the spiritual meaning of it. I think it's interesting that they have like those particular foods on there. And I don't know if they want me to. Let me see if they... I do kind of feel like I'm meant to read one... Hold on. Oh, there it is. I was like, where's my pendulum? Because I'm hearing something, but there's so much going on right now. I'm trying to sift through it, and I'll be honest, I'm like I said, I haven't worked out in a few weeks. So, do we want to read any of the book for any of the cards right now? Is there any extra information from the book that would be helpful for each or all of the cards? Any of the cards at this time before we close out the reading? No. Okay. Also, this card, that was the one that was there. Okay. I was like, what are you talking about? So they're saying, take the blinders off. No more cards. We're good. They're saying, take the blinders off. Look forward, not down. Look forward, not back. By the way, that just moved by itself. I watched it move by itself. That was crazy. I mean, even if like I put a little pressure, you know what I mean? Like next to it, you know what I mean? Like that was pretty interesting. But they're saying also, don't be afraid of your superpowers. Some of you guys have telekinetic powers. You can move things with your mind. You're not crazy. Keep focusing on that. If that's your path and purpose, listen, we're all in, some people are out there and they're meant to be out there. I spoke of Jasmine Crockett, you know, in the group reading, like, and Bernie Sanders and certain like people who are out there fighting the good fight. But then there are other people like ourselves that have been in this spiritual witness protection program for a long time. We've been in this hermit mode, and now it feels like a false start, right? Because we're still being told to stay in hermit mode and rest, but also work on our gifts and our skills. So it can feel a little daunting, but that's only because there's so much is going to happen in 2026 and it's going to move very, very quickly. So they just want you to be ready for it. Okay. And they want you to do it in a high vibration, knowing that you are the high priestess. This is what they were trying to say. It's like, this is who you are, the bountiful high priestess. Or priest, however you see yourself, but it's the divine feminine that is going to save us. It's the divine feminine that's going to lead the way. And the divine masculine we have now, we're seeing that the divine masculine is fighting for us. There are a lot of men out there that understand what's happening. I've had some really beautiful conversations with some magical beings and these men who understand, and they're here to protect us. So whether it's this is an embodiment of your divine masculine and feminine in the cards, or an actual, like, you know, if there's someone in this group, in this reading, that is the divine masculine, I feel like fear not, because you've got the women around you as well. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of, we're all yin and yang right now. And this isn't like, let's, you know, oh, this is going to win, that's going to win. You know, it's this, no. This is a different kind of, see how his wand is up? He's not carrying a knife or a sword or a gun. He's carrying a wand. He knows how to use it if he has to, but he's coming with flowers on it. He's coming, you know, and look at the colors of fire, like the fire dragon, or excuse me, ooh, interesting, the fire horse. And also look at the elephant in the room. He's riding a horse. It didn't even dawn on me till right now. Some of you may have, you know, whatever, but I feel like that was like at the end of the movie where you're like, oh yeah, you know, but seriously, I didn't even think about it, right? So they're saying like, this is you, but you just need to focus on the looking forward, not looking back. Focus on your bounty that you already have, not what you don't have yet. Focus on what you have and what you can work with, because we're not quite there yet, right? I'm also hearing from Spirit to don't just throw your money around. It's not about holding on to it too tightly. Keep it going, flowing. But like, ask yourself, do you really need this? Do you really want this? Purging that which no longer serves your current life. If it's a part of your old life, get rid of it. You know, I do have a little memory box that Spirit, you know, allows me to have, because I was very open and said, if it's time, I'm okay. If it's time, they're like, no, it's okay for you to have this. You know, someday this will be part of your life and history that people will know about you. But I keep it in a nice little box, tucked away in my storage. I don't look at it. It's not my everyday life. And you know what I mean? So just, it's okay to put your old world in a little box. It's okay. But for right now, we need you to focus on this world right now, because see how the high priestess, she is leading us out of the darkness, out of the shadow and into the light. But see how she's also wearing dark colors. It's like she had to kind of like, I feel like for a lot of us light workers, we've been blending in too long, and now we have to step forward. So dress the way you want to dress, say what you want to say. You know what I mean? Like, no more holding back. 2026 is going to be the best year of your life, but you have to allow it, and you have to look forward. And see how she's kind of looking down and he's looking off, but it's like you get down here and it's like, nope. She's like, I got you. I got you. I got you. Yes. And also she's coming with fire. So we just talked about the metaphor fire of this, and then she's literally coming forward with fire. Oh, I love it so much. All right, you guys, I think that's it. Do we have any more messages for reading two? All right, well, blessed New Year, blessed 2026 reading two. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Happy New Year. And if you would like to work with me and go further and deeper into your story to help you figure out which direction or which way to go, if you are still struggling with your path and your purpose, I would love to work with you. And I do work on a sliding scale, and I work one-on-one. I work with couples. I work with groups. All of my information is in the description box. So you can email me if you would like to book a session, or I do record it as well. And sometimes Spirit will call me to work with you, either like over Zoom or just a recording. It's different for everybody, because the experience is what it needs to be. So there's that. And then also, if it's in your wheelhouse to do so, I have a PayPal, I have a Venmo, and I have an Amazon wish list if you would like to contribute to the work I do on this channel. And if that is not in your wheelhouse to do so, remember that prayer is free. And it's about the exchange of energy. I love you so much. May your 2026 be so blessed. Until next time, I love you. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Happy New Year. Welcome, reading three. Before we get started, drink some water, please. And if you don't have any, pause it. Go get some. Tea and coffee don't count. I know there's water in it. Real water. Spirit wants us to really focus on staying hydrated, especially if you're watching this in real time. Today is December 27th, and you know, it's around the holiday season, so maybe we're eating or drinking things that we don't normally eat or drink, and so our bodies are feeling a little off. A little equilibrium is off. Anyway, so happy holidays, blessed Yule, and blessed first quarter moon. When this came together, I was so excited the way it just folded in so beautifully with the narrative of what's happening on Earth right now and in the stars and the cosmos. If you have been with us a long time, thank you for keep coming back, and welcome to the new people. But you know, I use the blanket term spirit a lot, and I'll always use that because it is a good blanket term for all of us. We are all spirit. But I've been working a little, excuse me, a little bit more closely with the Creator, and I have been hearing this over and over, and I've been calling them the Creator Divine. Instead of the Divine Creator, it's the Creator Divine. And it feels very much like a title without a title, if that makes sense. Because I feel like our Creator is like a more humble energy, right? So it's not like the Divine Creator. It feels more like the Creator Divine. Like they don't even know where they come from, right? Like, right? They came from somewhere, something started, it's like, and it can make your brain feel a little bit crazy, right? Like the chicken and the egg, where does it start? Where does it, speaking of, if you've never seen the movie Somewhere in Time, I highly suggest you watch it. It is magical, it is beautiful, and it is free on YouTube this month. I swear I should get plugs from YouTube every time I promote the movies. But seriously, it was one of my favorite movies when I was younger. I couldn't even believe that it was from 1980. I'm like, I was 9. I'm like, I thought I was in high school when that came out. I'm like, that's so interesting. Isn't that interesting how our minds like can tell us one thing and then, you know, anyway, the flame is doing some cool stuff on your cards there. But long story short, it's about time travel. And after the movie was over, I said to my partner, I said, so who bought the watch? Because one person gave the one person the watch from another time, and the other person gave the person the watch from the other time. You know what I mean? But it's like, but where did they get the watch? They never say where the watch came from. It was really interesting, and I don't know why this is tying into your story, but I feel like maybe for some of you, you're kind of like struggling with like the way you're looking at things, because the title of this reading, you know, the first quarter moon is all about taking action. The new moon comes and we're starting to think about, you know, a new beginning, a new start, right? But then we get a little bit of time in between the new moon and the first quarter moon, which is, you know, the setting intentions phase. So now we're in the taking action. So Spirit is saying, where do you need to take action now to set you up for a prosperous and awesome new year in 2026? Out of all the other readings, and even in the group reading, it felt more like, yeah, it can be like now, or like from now until whatever. But I really am getting from you, for those of you who are going to watch this in real time, I have a feeling they're going to have me post it. I don't know if it's going to be posted today or sometime this weekend, maybe New Year's Eve. I don't know. But I definitely feel like for some of you, you're really closely tied to like the magic and the mystery of Spirit. And so I feel like you may be flowing more in the divine timing of the moons. And so they're wanting you to actually make even just one step towards your goal before 2026 happens. And maybe even if you watch this on New Year's Eve, or, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, because sometimes, right, it's like, it's not a light switch moment. It's just like anything that's new. It needs time for it to sink in. So allow 2026 to like come in, wash over you, you know, feel the energy flow. It's a 10-year. You take off the 0, you know, it's a 1. So it's endings and new beginnings. So it's going to feel a little off kilter for a while also, until the snake passes the baton to the year of the horse on February 17th, which is a huge significant number and event for all of us, because it's a new moon. It's a new lunar year with the year of the fire horse. And then there's also a solar eclipse. So there's so many crazy, awesome things all happening and aligning. Like, I'm not an astrologer, but just from some of the things from some of the astrologers that I follow, like, they're like, it's just like it's going to be like one of the most magical days. And anyway, there's a lot of things that are coming through. So this is about taking action in 2026 to create the magical life I deserve. This is about the magical life that you deserve. So 2026 is going to be the blueprint of like how you're setting up, you know, coming back to self and fulfilling your dreams, your path, your purpose, your destiny. And for some of you, it's going to be aligning with your beshert, which means like your twin flame or your significant other, soulmate. You know, some people have twin flames in this lifetime, but they don't stay together. They learn from each other, and it's like, you know, and then other twin flames, it's like a big love story, and it's like everything's like, I feel like, you know, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are like the perfect match for that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they are definitely twin flames. Like, there's something very special, even when they stand next to each other, because, you know, she always says she feels like a giant, but next to him, she feels so tiny and beautiful and feminine, right? But she's a fucking Amazon goddess. I think she's like 5'10", standing, you know, flat foot, right? So when she's in heels and she's towering over people, you know, it's like she wants to feel a certain way. So it's like, I wouldn't be surprised. But they both had to be with other people and go certain things. It's not like it was easy, but now they're aligning and they're laughing and joyful and happy, you know? So I'm sure they have, you know, arguments or situations just like every other couple. Things happen, and they're still in the honeymoon phase too. But I do feel like for some of you, you are going to align. Now, if it's not your story, don't make it your story. But also remember that this is a year to work on yourself. All these ones, it's about, you know, a new beginning, but it's also about one. It's about working with me, myself, and I. And technically it's 3 ones. So it's me, myself, and I, right? Because it's January is 1. The first is 1. And then 2026 comes out to 10. But if you take off the 0, it's a 1. And if you didn't watch the group reading before this, I highly recommend you watch it. You can watch it, pause this and go and watch that now, or come back, or watch this and go back, whatever aligns to your story. I will put whatever recommendation links they have me put on. I will make sure that it's the top link, and it'll either be before the timestamps or right after it. And they'll probably have me label it in a way that you'll understand it. But anyway, but there was a lot of cool stuff that came through for the collective, and then they did have me do some predictions and things that were going to be coming through, but mostly for you know, the new year, and what I spoke of, the Lunar New Year as well, with the Year of the Horse. So I don't know if I'll be going live or if I'll be recording, but I am going to do something on Thursday. I just don't know 100% yet what it's going to be. So anyway, this is about you taking action in 2026 to create the magical life that you deserve. So let's jump into your cards. Oh my gosh, they're double dipping. This is so fun. We've been doing this. Also, this keeps flying into your reading. So some of you need to work with mugwort. I have plenty. If you would like some, just reach out. I'd be happy to send it to you. I have plenty. And honestly, this is the mugwort leaf. It's good for tea. There's a lot of things you can use mugwort for, but I also have like full like stems and things like that if you want them for like your dream, whatever. And honestly, I would send them to you free. If you wanted to gift me something, that's fine. But honestly, I was gifted the mugwort. So, you know, however you would want to do it, but I'm very happy to share. And I'm happy to send any your way. But the fact that it wanted to come in is really powerful. So mugwort is definitely your plant to work with. I'm also hearing the number 4. And if you're a Sagittarius, the color blue, which is why I think they also had the blue on top today. Because I asked if I felt like the cards needed to flip over, but they were really emphasizing on the blue. So blue is the color to work with. You know, if you're thinking about repainting a room or a place that you want to feel calm, do a shade of blue, a calming blue, work with blue. But the number 4 kept coming up, which is also for the number balance. Like that's about being balanced. So balancing divine feminine and masculine. It's going to be an intense year, but it's also going to be a transformative year. Okay, so oh my goodness. I think I know why. So interesting. Reading 2 had a horse in there too. You know, not all of them have horses. The cards, right? Because they're knights. So this is interesting. I know why they want it this way. And I don't know if my camera will allow it, but I almost want to flip it, you know, because do you see how the horses are like going towards each other in reverse? So keep that little mental snapshot or take a screenshot, but keep that in your mindset, okay? Because then I'm going to flip them back. Because now they're going away from each other. What? Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So not awesome if this is going to hurt you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be insensitive. I'm just saying that there's something here and they're having me push in. Okay, so we have to your left, we have the Knight of Swords. And swords represent air energy. They're about communication. And the air signs connected to them are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So you may be these signs, or you may be dealing with someone with these signs. Or it could even be, sometimes it could be like the time frames when that will happen. So like in Aquarius, it would be end of January, beginning of February, you know, Gemini, end of May, beginning of June, so on, right? But then this is what's so interesting, because here is the Knight of Cups. And I can tell you, without even going into the book, this is your culmination card. This is how you're going to end it 2026. And the reason why they wanted you to see them in reverse is because when you have when the horses are going at each other, right? Because I feel like there's a conflict. Also, the cups are water. So they could also represent same thing. It could be the water signs, which would be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So if that is the case, you know, this could be maybe for some of you, you think somebody's your soulmate, but you're like polar opposites. And, you know, and twin flames, like with my partner and I, you know, we're polar opposites in so many ways. So I kept saying to Spirit, you know, is that what makes twin flames? And then I was like, or am I going the opposite direction, that I'm trying to make it, you know, whatever. And I feel like for some of you, the relationships that you're in, I feel like they want me to go over here. Yeah, did you see how the fire was over on that night? And then like they wanted it to go over here. Oh, and look at how it's in the shadow. For some of you, here's the story. And I know it's hard, but you have to use discernment here. There's two stories going on here. There's one story where you are in a relationship that is not what you think it is. It's not your soulmate. It's not your twin flame. They are your opposite. And they are like, you're never going to see eye to eye in this lifetime. They may feel like your soulmate in so many ways. They may feel like your best friend, and they may feel like, you know, it could be the best sex, the best friendship. You're like, we laugh all, like, there's nothing. Yes, that's awesome, but that's also a comfort zone, and that's safe. And maybe there's somebody else who's going to come and, you know, has more of like this fire energy. Somebody who takes action, not somebody that just wants to sit around. And, you know, anybody can sit on a, you know, couch and watch movies. You can have, you know, you could be the most opposite in some ways, but then have like certain things where things just, you're like, oh, but we have so much fun together and we do this and we do that. And it's like, yeah. And if that's all you do all the time, it's like you're just living in this like perpetual like thing that's never going to go where it needs to go. And you chose to be in a relationship that's going to challenge you, that's going to put a fire under your ass. Also, these are knights. These are two masculine energies. And right now, depending on how you know, feel, you know, in your mind, body, and soul on this planet at this time, you can look at this many ways. But I will tell you, because the divine feminine is on the rise and the divine masculine is pushing back so fucking hard right now, people are like, oh, well, we're fighting because of this, or we're fighting because of that. It's like, or is it like, no, it's changed because you've changed, and it's never going to go back to that utopia, because you are never going to go back to being that person. And I have to tell you, because somewhere in time, it's a really beautiful love story movie. And I watched it with my partner the other day. I was so shocked. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time. And it kept coming up. I'd never seen it free. And it was one of my favorite soundtracks. My mom and I loved the movie. My mom kept bringing it up. And it kept showing up in my feed over and over. Even though I was like kind of like putting it to the side or like whatever. It just kept showing up. So I had all these movies for us to watch. Like lighthearted, funny, whatever. And it popped up again. And I was like, hey, have you ever seen Somewhere in Time? By the way, when I looked up, it was 143:43. Oh, interesting. And for any reason this goes to another video, then it's meant to go to another video. If not, it'll stay on the same one. And maybe that's why they were drawing mine, but also 43 is 7, so it was like 177, so it could be angel number 177, but that also comes out to 14, 15, the number 6. So that might be significant for somebody. They really wanted me to go for that one. But long story short, we ended up watching that movie. He loved it. And at the end, he was so emotional. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, you're so beautiful. And it just like kind of blew my wig off. And I was just like, and then it made me realize the divine masculine wants that so bad right now. They want it so bad. And I was like, don't hide. You can cry. I'm like, it's okay. You know, because all of us have been told, don't cry, whether you identify with man, woman, divine, feminine, masculine. We have it in both of us. But, you know, it's like a lot of us were told, like, you know, be strong, toughen up, don't cry, be a man, you know, and if you're a woman, like, you're being too sensitive, toughen up. Well, I feel like now Spirit's saying it's time to part ways with that energy, because swords is also about getting in our heads, being too much in our heads. So they're saying get out of that old archaic thinking and get into the cups, because cups are about emotions. It's like the heart. It's all about the heart chakra. Like, see how their cup is raised to bring the love? This is your job, is to bring the light and the illumination. Did you see how things changed and how your whole reading just got lighter? Nothing changed. I didn't turn lights on. This is you. This is how 2026 is going to end. But you have got to, you know, or you keep this figure in your mind to keep that divine masculine in a happy, healthy place. Don't go to the dark side, you know, because it feels comfortable there. And for some, it's not even that it's like the dark side. It's just that you're just in a place that doesn't belong to you. And also remember, when you do that, you're holding other people back from their path and their purpose, right? So especially if you're in a relationship where you're holding on to somebody, and especially if you've been with them for many years, right? Like, you're looking at it and it's like, well, you know, we've been this, we've been that. And I've learned from my own experience, like, relationships evolve and we evolve with them, or we just stay stagnant. And what happens in the stagnancy? Nothing. You have to step out of your comfort zone. That is the theme I'm getting for 2026, is stepping so far out of your comfort zone and stepping into your identity, who you are. And the cards are calling to me. You know, we need both the feminine and masculine to survive. It's part of us, but we need to keep it balanced. And, you know, the emotions, it's like we've just been fucked with so much. So we're going to get a whole new, like, by 2027, like a year from now, when it's 2026 and we're going into 2027, it's going to be so different. And I mean, if they call me to, they'll probably have me find this and bring it to show you, you know, like how far we've come in a year. So they're saying have faith. Some of you have a hard time having faith. Oh, look at this. It was in reverse. Another swords card. You're too much in your head. The 4 of Swords in reverse. But look, it's the divine feminine. But it was in reverse. So I have to give it what it is when it's there. Hold on. Okay, this is so powerful, you guys. It says, when the 4 of Swords is dealt in a reading, it is a sign that you need to take some personal downtime, a retreat or a day off, so you can recoup lost energy and find your strength again. The querent, the person asking the question, you guys, may be feeling overwhelmed by demands and stress. They may feel the need to get away and to withdraw from the hectic and daily grind of life. This card symbolizes that you need to allow yourself time to recover from an illness. This might be a specific for someone. It's also on page 137, which comes out to number 11, angel number. It may also represent a need to step away from group magic for a bit. You may need to practice solitarily for a time, and you will find the solutions to your magical problems quietly and on your own. Yes, because you have to remember, even in, like, you know, spiritual groups or covens, or I don't care, ecstatic dance, whatever group you belong, if you get too many fucking cooks in the kitchen, people put in their input, and then, you know, it can, by the way, when I looked down, it was 14812, and 48 is 12. So I feel like 1212 might be an angel number for you guys to work with as well. It came out like, so work with that as well. You know, but too many cooks in the kitchen, it just causes chaos. And so don't let too many people get into your head. That is very true. That's kind of what I felt with it. And also, I feel like I really wanted to put her in the middle, but they had me place it that way. And it's also, if you're looking at the Knight of Cups as the culmination card of like bringing the joy and the light, look at how you're fighting. It's almost like you can't even look at how the light is in the bottom, like highlighting the swords and not her, right? Like I could move the candle around. I asked if I should, they said no. But it's like, I feel like some of you guys are like half in the light, half in the shadow, and you're not coming at it with love. And you're fighting your emotions too, instead of feeling the emotions. And 2026 is about all of us opening wide open, new beginnings. And, you know, if you're feeling it, feel it. Like if you need to cry, cry. And when we hold it in and we repress it, that's when it really messes with us and actually makes us ill. So I wouldn't be surprised some of you may have that. I mean, I've said for years, I think fibromyalgia is, I'm not saying, you know, that people don't believe it's real. I just think it's something that people give them an excuse so that they don't have to do this, or that some people need to have an excuse instead of just setting a boundary and saying no, you know? So you can say no with love. And I feel like for some of you, like maybe you're using more of like, you know, the communication, like instead of like just coming at it with love, it's like you're armed. Look at, she also looks like pregnant, you know? So I feel like for some of you, like, you know, maybe you're pregnant for real, but maybe you're pregnant with like ideas, or, you know, like something new is like in your belly and it's stirring around and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And Spirit's like 2026 is going to be the year where you're going to say, fuck this shit. Your throat chakra is going to burst open and you're going to communicate, because you're like, you know what? That's how I feel. And if people, whatever, let them, whatever, you know? I heard that really strongly. So the keywords are taking some downtime for yourself, resting and allowing yourself to fully recover from an illness, recouping lost energy, working magic as a solitary for a while, and finding your focus. The reverse meaning says feeling that you have been banished from a group, rejection, or exhaustion. So you know what though? But rejection is Spirit's protection. That is literally the divine creator's way of us. Like we have a built-in monitor system. That's okay, good. But you know what? We were programmed to believe you don't belong with us, right? Like the mean girls. Everybody wants to be in their group. Why? They're fucking bitches. Like, why do you want to be in their group? They're nasty fucking bitches. They don't even like each other. That's not true community. And look at how the horse is kind of hiding in the shadow. And I'm hearing like once you like get some downtime, rest and relax, you're going to be able to balance your divine masculine and your feminine, and you're going to feel much better. You got to get this shit in check though. You really do. That is like your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to start really focusing on yourself. I feel like this candle wants to come over here. Okay. All right. Now, do we have any more cards? For you to have the magical year that you desire is for you to fucking put you as numero uno and think of it as the year of one. It's a new beginning for you. Seriously. It's numero uno. The next year is 2027, and that is an 11 year, the angel number, but it's also like 1 and 1, like 2, like, you know, by then you'll have the balance that you need to be with that person. And maybe, you know, I've been separated from my partner for 1.5 years after 10.5 years being together. And every time we both want to give up, I was like, why are we, you know, and I realized we are a true full on twin flame, but we are the true twin flame story, meaning like, he still has to work on him. I still have to work on me, but we're in the I can't quit you phase, and we know that. So we're still growing with each other. We're still, you know, and if you're there, then allow yourself to be there, but know why you're there. If you're with somebody who's completely fucking oblivious to what you're doing, then you know what I mean? It's like, it's going to also think of it this way, especially some people have an awakening, right? Like Scrooge, like, you know, overnight, like he has all these dreams and like, you know, ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future come, and he wakes up the next morning, he's like, that's right, I used to be a beautiful soul, I'm a beautiful soul, I'm magic, I'm awesome, I'm a millionaire, I'm gonna use my money for good, you know? So that's my prayer, and that's what I've been getting from the good energies too. Put that energy towards like the American president, the, you know, these other presidents and leaders of these countries that, you know, at some point they were children that wanted to play and wanted to just be alive, and they've become those things. Spirit's like, don't let your past dictate your future. Go forward in that beautiful grounded energy with your cup and your heart. Think of that cup as your heart held high going forward, and it's the year of the horse. And look at how this horse is darker than the horse that's moving forward. You know what I mean? So, but they're still not out. We're not 100% out of the woods yet, but we will be by 2027. Okay, my deck just flew all over the floor, and it's so crazy because, oh, for some of you, if you were drawn to reading 1, some cards from reading 1 flew out, and I purposely like put them in the deck like separately so that that wouldn't happen. Oh my gosh, but look what's at the top of the other one. But it was in reverse, and it's the Knight of Wands in reverse. So wands are about taking action. It's about fire. And February 17th, the year of the fire horse, will be coming in. So be gentle with yourself while you're going through this healing process. Be gentle with your emotions. And don't fixate on the future too much, okay? Like, don't fixate on this person or this, you know, because it was in reverse. And fire represents the fire signs, right? So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So that could be as well. And interesting that we've got water and fire, and, you know, water and fire is what's in my personal relationship. My moon is in Scorpio, which is water, and my partner, my twin flames moon, is in Sagittarius, fire. Water puts out fire, you know. And there's this song called A Simple Thing. I'll put it in the description box, and it's really powerful. It came in with the group reading as well, which if you want to check that out, I highly suggest you do so. But you know, it made me realize, right? Like, we also have to remember that the other person that we're in a relationship with, that their makeup, their astrological makeup, you know, what they're built and everything, and their own lessons may be significantly different than yours. So this isn't just about a basic compromise of who sleeps on what side of the bed. This is growing more deeper. And if you've noticed, it's gotten darker in the screen. I can easily put the lights on, put more candles. They said no. So some people in 2026 are still going to be in the shadow. You may have to help pull them into the light. That may be part of your path and your purpose, but it may not be, you know. So they may need to just stay in the fire for a little while, you know. Because interestingly enough, even though it's the year of the fire horse that will be coming in, I do feel like for some of you, you're dealing with someone that is stuck in the past, and this could be you, and this could be part of you and your fire sign. But see how the fire is low, but it's not. It only looks low because it's there. But if you look at it here, that's a wild, wild fire. So connect to that, because that's who you are. And for some of you, your person, they just need a little time. They just need a little time. Also, so yeah, so reading 1 and reading 2, because a card from reading 2 just popped out as well. So if you were John, but don't make it your story if it's not your story. Sometimes it's just a little bit, oh my gosh, the cards just went flying again. But every time I do, there's like some other like things. So there must be something. It's like they're having me do it like the old, oh, maybe this is for some of you. Hey, you know, there's other ways of doing readings. You don't have to use cards. People use tea leaves. They use bones. There's a lot of really cool ways that you can, runes, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things. Okay, so on the top of this one, it's just like really showing itself to me. Yeah, so this is from reading 1. So if you were drawn to reading 1, they're having me put it in kind of like a blurry shadow. If you're drawn to this, that means you're meant to go there. If you're not, let it go. Don't make it your story, okay? Any more messages for reading 3 before we go? Okay, do we want to read from the book for any of these cards before we go? Okay, I'm getting a yes. Do we want to read from the King of Wands? The King of Cups? Do we want to read from the 4 of Swords? Was that 5 of Swords? Is that a 5 of Swords and I was saying it wrong the whole time? No, it was 4 of Swords. Oh, she has like sticks or something in her hand. Okay. Do we want to read from the Knight of Swords? Okay, so somebody needs to hear from the Knight of Swords. And they're just having me leave the cards down there like that. So I'm just going to put it there. I love you. Spirit wants you to know that you are loved. But there's definitely someone here who's really fighting moving forward. And they're saying it's not going to help you in any way to hold on. I have the chills really bad. So this is one of those, like, if it stays on, it's meant for all of you. If it goes off, it's like follow the breadcrumbs and follow the link. And let me see where they want me to start. Okay, do we want to read any of this? Okay, so here we go. If we had to sum up this court card in 2 words, they would be no fear. When this card comes roaring into a reading, expect excitement, movement, and adventure. There is a need for action, and it is time for you to dive in and be the hero. I'm also hearing for some of you, the reason why it's faced in the past is like, it's time for you for 2026 to really get in there and work with your past. Face those things. It's no fear card. This means that you get in there and you ask the tough questions in the relationships, you know, whether it's a significant other or family or friends. Like, this is about you being brave. I want to see you be brave, right? Like, Spirit's like, this is 2026 is like, you know, you take that horse energy, that freedom horse, and you ride that motherfucker all through 2026. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hold tight and you say, show me the way, Spirit, show me, Creator Divine, how do I do this? How do I approach this person? How do I get through with this person? How do I, you know what I mean? Ask them to show you the way, and they will. It says, when this card comes roaring into a reading, expect excitement, movement, and adventure. So you're going to have a lot of changes, but be open to them. Because remember, even if you don't want to get out of a relationship, something will happen. Spirit will show you something, either something you don't want to see or something you felt, and then it's there and you can't not see it, right? Like, I saw this thing with Kelly Clarkson, and somebody asked her, like, when she knew her marriage was over, and she said, when the flags were so big that I couldn't not see them anymore. And I knew that, like, I had tried every way, and that was it. And then, you know, the inevitability. I think he cheated on her too, but they don't, she alludes to it in her music, but they don't ever really talk about it because she's got kids and stuff. But, you know, so anyway, so it could be something like that, or it could even be that, like, you know, you're going to get an offer for an adventure, and you're going to have to decide, like, leaving this place and going, finally doing, like, the place, you know, like, maybe you want to work at some job and you start talking to somebody in line at a coffee shop. I'm hearing to be open and optimistic. Your mission, should you choose to accept it for 2026, for your magical desires to come true, is for you to just be open with your heart, which is why the Knight of Cups was there for the emotions, like, but also being balanced and grounded in your heart and not giving too much away. This came up in some of the other readings, right? Like, one of the readings, it was like, it was earth. It was all about getting grounded. It's like, you can be connected to the stars, as above, so below, and the earth, but this is the year to really stay connected and grounded. And remember that this is a fun experience. You're not doing it wrong. Just follow the breadcrumbs. You're always going to find your way. Have more faith in yourself. 2026 is about you having more faith in you and your abilities and what you can do. And how they had this be this card both ways, right? For you to see that, like, when the card started, they gave you one look at the card. That's everything in life. We can look at every situation from a different perspective and still learn something. So keep that in mind. And it says, there is a need for action, and it's time for you to dive in and be the hero. This court card represents a passionate and exciting young man with brown hair and or gray or hazel eyes. So they said to me, the reason why they pointed that out, because it might be more personal if you're like, is this part of my reading or not? So they do that to kind of give you like a shout out. And also remember that this represents the divine masculine. So this could be you as well if you identify as a woman or female. So it says, this is an individual who is clever and capable in a crisis. Look at you, who is shrewd and dynamic and possesses a razor sharp wit. They may be a bit arrogant, but it is all part of their charm. This is the card of the soldier and the warrior, the protector. The Knight of Swords will roar into your life, bringing exploration, communication, new ideas, and change. The challenge from the Knight of Swords is to stand up for yourself and your beliefs. Rapid movement and transformation is blowing your way. Hang on and enjoy the ride. Oh, you guys, see? So, right, like, we all have work, you know, it's because 10's about completion. Like, so we've learned all the things we need to learn, but now we need to put them into the 1 to the new beginning. We need to implement those changes and implement the wisdom and the knowledge that we've gained. And also the keywords are no fear, courage, momentum, swift change, and progress, a clever, brave, and capable soul. But it's leaning towards the divine masculine, the yang energy, right? Stand up and defend your position when needed. The associated elements are air and fire. Air is the suit of swords related natural element, while all 4 of the knights are associated with the energetic element of fire. So look at that. That's also another double whammy to tell you about this fire. And I'm still feeling like that, getting the fire under your ass, right? Like you needed this reading. I feel like some of you. Also, the astrological association is Gemini. So this could be for some of you that are specifically a Gemini or Gemini heavy in your chart. And the reverse is conflict, misplaced aggression, and no progress. That's what you were, but this is what you are becoming. So face those fears, face the things that are behind you so that you can move forward into that grace energy. Okay, Spirit, do we have any more messages for reading 3 before we wrap this up today? Do we want to read anything else from the book? Are we done? Okay, you guys. All right, I love you so much. Spirit loves you. Happy New Year, blessed New Year. Take really good care of yourselves and each other. And if you'd like to work with me, go deeper, further into your own story, you can contact me at magicalmedium@gmail.com. It's in the description box. I work on a sliding scale. There's always a way for us to work with each other in one way or another, okay? And also, I have my Venmo, my PayPal, and my Amazon wish list if it is in your wheelhouse to do so to help keep this channel going. Thank you. If not, remember that prayer is free. It's all about the exchange of energy. Until next time, I love you, I love you, I love you. Blessed New Year, you guys. We got through another one. We got through another one, and we're going to get through this one too. Keep looking to the light, no matter what you do. And look at how they have this right now. I just realized that the fire is actually behind you, pushing you towards this light over here. All right, you guys. I love you. We'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, Happy New Year.